Hi there, business owner, and welcome to the 3Bs podcast, the place where we go beyond the numbers and dive into strategies to help you build a better business one step at a time. I'm your host, Stephanie, a multi-award-winning entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in the bookkeeping and accountancy world. If you're a business owner looking to streamline, grow, and get back the time that you deserve, you're in the right place. We're tackling real-world problems, answering tough questions, and digging deep into business-building secrets in just 15 minutes each week. So are you ready to build a better business with confidence and clarity? Then let's go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 3Bs podcast, your go-to 15 minutes of CPD motivation, education and inspiration to help you build a better business each week. As always, I'm your host Stephanie and I'm here this week with a really exciting guest. So Kathryn, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kathryn Frimond. I run a bookkeeping practice called Your Local Bookkeeper, and we focus on sustainable businesses and teaching accountants and other bookkeepers how to make their business more green and more ethical.
Amazing. And that is what we're here to talk about today. So sustainability is quite a buzzword. It's talked about a lot on social media. We see it in the news quite a lot now. But what actually is sustainability in business?
Good question. So for me, sustainability is quite all-encompassing, and the other phrase that you'll hear a lot of is ESG, which stands for environmental, social and governance. And I would lump sustainability in that as like the umbrella title. So it is making sure that your business is environmentally conscious. So that might be things that you purchase. Making sure that you are socially doing good, so your business isn't harming others. And then the governance is things like making sure people are fairly paid and making sure you've got all your documents and in a row and things like that. So for me, sustainability is like the umbrella of the ESG.
Amazing. I've not heard of that. So I guess for me, sustainability, a lot of people think like it's all or nothing. Like you have to be 100% green or you have to be nothing. And as business owners, we're wearing so many hats all the time, doing all the different things that people are like, I just don't have time to put everything into it. Is there some smaller sort of first steps that business owners can take to just start being a bit more sustainable?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first step is knowing that you want to do something. Then I would say small steps make a huge difference. So you could maybe change your bank account to a more ethical provider. That will make a huge difference because you're talking with your money. Changing your pension. Other small changes might just be making sure that you take one thing that might be achievable for you is just making sure that you take your reusable cup out. And if you're having a coffee every day, like one coffee from Starbucks every day, that's 365 coffees and cups saved. And in the space I've been told before that there's quite a bit of judgment and, oh, you're not a vegan. I get told off for not being a vegan. So, oh, you're not a vegan, so you can't possibly be sustainable, or you're not taking your water bottle out, so you can't possibly be sustainable. But it's what's attainable for you, and people have different thresholds of what good looks like. But for me, it's more, as long as you're making a conscious choice and you're thinking about it, then that's fine. That's what you can do.
I love that. Yeah, we're all human. I try to make sure I take out a reusable cup, but there's many a times where I've got no intention of buying a coffee. And then when we pass, we just do what we can do, right?
Yeah,
You said
of
about
course it
bank
is.
accounts. You said about bank accounts and pensions. How would you even look for a sustainable? How would you rate a sustainability? Is there somewhere we can go to find this information, or what are we looking for if we were looking to make those steps?
Yeah, so what you're looking for is a bank that has pledged not to fund fossil fuels, for example, or not to fund, the big one at the moment is the war in Gaza, like not to fund arms and ammunition. The best place to look for that is a company that's brought it all together, a website called bank.green, and you can type your bank in there and it will give you a rating. So for example, Barclays has a really bad rating. I think they've I can't remember the exact money, but they put billions into fossil fuel funding and funding companies like BP and Shell. Whereas a company like Monzo have pledged not to invest in fossil fuels, so they have a green rating on bank.green. We've actually just switched a client from Barclays to Alaka Bank. Alaka have a really good rating, and the switch was so easy, like it happened within an hour. It's made no difference to my client's business at all. It's made no difference, like there was no more work, but he's now doing better because he knows that his money's not being invested in things that you wouldn't invest your money in if it was under your mattress. You know, you wouldn't go out and buy a gun. So why would you let your bank do that? Pensions is a little harder because pensions are invested everywhere. There was a business called Make Money Matter, but they were like a charity, but they've now stopped because they ran out of funding. I don't know if you can still get on their website, but they're quite good. But I would speak to your pension advisor. A lot of clients, small lender with Nest, they have a good ethical fund, as do Penfold. But if you're talking like a big amount of money and a big company scheme, then definitely talk to your pension advisor. And I have people that I can recommend if people get in touch.
Amazing. Do you know what the good news is? I bank with Alaka, Monzo, and my pensions of Penfold, so I feel like I'm
Yeah,
already halfway there.
you're there. Alaka blew me away with their impact report. I asked them for it at, I don't know, at Accountex like a couple of years ago or something, and they were actually read on bank.green. And I read the report and told them, and I was like, you need to get on bank.green because you're on red and you shouldn't be. And they got their score overturned as well. So that was really good.
Amazing. And it is those little things, isn't it? And then maybe as business owners, we don't realise we're doing it already, which is always quite nice. So sustainability to me, when I think about it in the business owner sense, quite often you think of reusable packaging and manufacturing processes. But as a service-based business like we are in the bookkeeping and accountancy world, we don't really have packaging or manufacturing. So for service-based businesses, how can being more sustainable, how can we do it? And how can that give you a competitive edge in a crowded marketplace?
Yeah, so how could it is more difficult. So without going into too much detail, their sort of carbon is measured in something called scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. So scope 1 is things like electricity, things that you have an impact on. They're really easy for service-based businesses to change. If you're running an office, you can switch your energy provider to Octopus or another greener, I don't know, Ecotricity. And that's an easy win. What's really hard is the scope 3, which is as you say, like the supply chain. And for us as service-based businesses, we tend to be working with big companies like Xero, QuickBooks, Dext, that you think you probably don't have much say over. But I would say the best thing you can do is ask them the question and say, well, where is your impact report? Because large companies like that are going to need to create impact reports. It's actually gone to the government this week where IFRS S1 and IFRS S2, which means that you have to report on carbon, are hopefully going to get, like the rubber stamp. And for big companies, they're going to have to do that. And we're definitely seeing that they have to do that for investors. So I'd say it's asking that question and leaving them if you're not happy with the answer. Then you asked, I've lost my train of thought on the question, but can it help our business? Yeah, give us a
How can it give
competitive
you a
edge.
competitive edge in the marketplace? I guess you would like publish your own findings. I know I haven't put anything on the ABCS UK website, and I probably should, about where I stand and what I stand for and what we're doing. I guess
Yeah,
create our own impact report, maybe.
absolutely. So I would always start, and some people wouldn't start with this, and I have arguments with people about it, but I would always start with measuring your carbon footprint. There are tools that you can literally just plug into Xero and it creates a spend-based, so based on your spending, it creates a carbon footprint. It's not totally refined and it's not ideal, but it gives you the starting point of where you're spending and where your carbon is being spent. I would say for our businesses, it's probably travel and things like emails and the people that we are. Dext is a huge one for me, and software. So I'd key that in and then, create an impact report off the back of it. We've actually just applied to, me and another bookkeeper have just applied to speak at an event where we'll run a workshop where you can do that impact report. So that'll be exciting if we get through. And get the impact report on your website. People are looking for this. And it's not just clients that are looking for it, because they may now have to report their scope 1, 2, and 3. So you are part of that scope 3. So clients will come to me and say, oh, I'm happy to even pay a little bit extra because I know you've got the same values as me. And I'm definitely seeing that in the market. Like, I'm definitely seeing people come to me because of those values. But the other big thing for service-based businesses is that staff are going to want you to be looking at this. Gone are the days where like a pizza after work made staff happy. They want you to be investing properly. They want you to have proper pensions that they're happy with, and it's investing in their future. So they want you to give volunteer days and be a community conscious business. And I know that a lot of, it's not just about money anymore, but they do obviously want you to pay them fairly as well.
Yeah, there's so much, but I think shouting about it as well, definitely. I think
definitely shouting about it. We did a carbon literacy training with one of the big accounting softwares recently, and I wouldn't have put them as sustainable in any way. And then they started telling us actually the initiatives that they have in the business, and they have got so much and they do not shout about it. And I think people get a bit scared of greenwashing and sort of claiming things that they're not. So there's actually like a counter thing called green hushing, where you're not saying enough. And I think as long as you can back up your claims and tell a story, then people appreciate that, and that's what they're looking for.
Was it Xero by any chance?
It wasn't Xero, but Xero are very good.
Because Xero sponsored the book Finance for Life, so the book that I wrote in February, Finance for Life. Xero have a scheme called Xero for Good, which is where they support smaller community-based projects, and they were the ones that sponsored the book so we could put books into schools.
Yeah, they have some amazing stuff, and I know that they've got like an impact fund, and they're really trying to like give back, and they're like changing all their offices and things like that. And it's actually Xero that have partnered with the company called Someday, where it's free for 12 months and you can plug in Xero to Someday and it creates the carbon footprint, and it takes minutes.
It's amazing. I know what I'm going to be doing after this, but thank you so much for joining us. We're nearly over this episode.
Thank you for having me.
So quick. Final question I always ask guests when they come on a podcast is, if you could sum up your business in one word, what would it be and why?
Ethical.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Really good one.
I'll try my best to be anyway.
Amazing. Please tell my community, if they're watching on YouTube or listening on a podcast platform, where they can find you.
Yeah, the best place to find me is on LinkedIn. It's like LinkedIn, Kathryn Frimond. And I'm there plugging away at the algorithm.
I'll pop all the links in the show notes as well of everything we've talked about so that people can find it nice and easily. Thank you for joining me. If you are listening on a podcast platform, do rate, review, leave a 5-star. It takes you 10 seconds, but makes a world of difference to reach more business owners so we can all build better businesses. And I'll see you next week for the next episode. Bye. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the 3Bs podcast. I hope you found it useful and that you're walking away with some motivation, inspiration, or education to help you build a better business. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and of course connect with us on social media for more insights, tips, and behind the scenes content. Your next step in building a better business is just a click away. I can't wait to connect with you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.